everyone, and welcome to this overview video of the Odense Zoo in Denmark. As you all know, I love visiting zoos, and I have been doing it for, well, pretty much my whole life. I visit zoos all around the world. I have been not on YouTube as much the last few years because of, well, other things that have been happening in my life. But now I really want to start doing it again and start making a lot more of these zoo overview videos because that is still my passion, visiting zoos. And like I said, I still do it quite a lot. So I hope that you guys will be seeing more of me in the coming months because I also have a lot more time now to do this, and so I really hope to make more of these videos. But now, a few weeks ago, I was in Denmark. I was on a zoo trip and I visited 8 different zoos. One of my favorites being the Odense Zoo, where I also got quite a bit of video footage. It was a very beautiful zoo. Well, we start already with the entrance and the beautiful wall paintings that they had. I got a few on the photo, but they had them all through the entire zoo, which was, I really loved that, something very unique. Something that was very obvious about this zoo immediately from the beginning was the naturalness of it. So it was obviously springtime, everything was very green. The enclosures were just very big. What you're looking at right now is the red panda exhibit, and that actually goes on even more than what I'm filming right now. So there was another enclosure here in front of us, 2 enclosures in total, but they were connected through platforms, so the animals could just have a run of the whole area. So that was very nice to see. Lots of climbing structures as well. What we have here is the sea lion exhibit, California sea lion. Yeah, this exhibit wasn't really big. And I saw one male sea lion swimming around in it at the time. So this wasn't really, yeah, one of the most pretty enclosures, quite small as well. But then let's not forget Odense Zoo is a city zoo, although you will see in the rest of the video that, well, it's definitely not like a lot of other city zoos that I've visited, but we will discuss that later on. From there, you walk into a South American aviary, lots of different birds, macaws, hocko species, and also the capybaras were in there. I don't have any video footage of this aviary, unfortunately, but it was very green, very lovely. And from that aviary, you walked into a tropical house, South American, which was just absolutely beautiful. So here we are walking into the house. Well, there were snakes in there were manatees in there were sloths in there as well. Again, lots of bird species, but I was immediately just astounded by the greenness of it. Well, the beautiful water. There's manatees swimming in there, arapaimas as well, very large fish, big catfish as well. Um, yeah, big tropical oasis. So I really love manatees, so always love seeing them. But it was really great that the water was so clear as well, that you could really just get a good look from them from above as well. And then opposite the manatees, you had what I thought was a very cool enclosure for green anacondas. So you see here the manatees, the luscious green South American forest. And then we had a very cool green anaconda enclosure on the other side. You could see them above and below the water, but I thought this was a very nice, natural looking enclosure. Also, yeah, showed their natural habitat very well as well. Like I said, there were sloths hanging in the trees as well, lots of different bird species flying around. Um, and then, of course, as you proceeded, you came to the underwater viewing of the water area where the manatees were, and then along with the big fish, big catfish, arapaimas, like I said before. And this was just also a very nice space to view the animals underwater. Definitely one of my favorite manatee enclosures I've seen. It was very, very good. And from this point on, you proceeded into the next part of the tropical house, which included an enclosure for a caiman. Um, and from then on into the penguin area, which we will see in a bit. So seeing the manatees underwater was obviously, yeah, they're very cool animals. Can't get enough of them. So this was that lovely caiman enclosure. Again, just very natural. Love all the plants. Love the clear water. And so this guy was being pretty active, which is always cool if you see an active caiman or crocodilian species. And he decided to leave the water. So I love the theme of all of this. That was very, very nice. From this point on, you proceed to the Antarctic penguin area, an ice wall, which I always love. There's not a lot of zoos that have one of those, so always have to touch it. And then you proceed to the penguin area. So they have three species of Antarctic penguin here in a very nice enclosure, I thought. King penguins, the Gentoo penguins, and rockhopper penguins. Now, the rockhopper penguins, which you see here in front of the glass, they don't have them in a lot of zoos that I visited, so I always really love to see the rockhopper penguins. King penguins and Gentoo penguins you see in quite a lot more facilities. They're a lot more common. Well, here in this exhibit, it was obviously could have been larger. It could have been larger. I've definitely seen prettier Antarctic penguin exhibits. But of course, seeing them underwater is, well, always a success. It was really cool to see three species together. I really loved seeing that. That was very cool. So, like I said, I have seen better Antarctic penguin exhibits, but it was definitely not bad. I thought it was a very good exhibit for the animals and for the public as well. As we left the penguin house, I came into a walkthrough exhibit for Bolivian squirrel monkeys. Did not see the monkeys, they were inside at the time, but this is where it started to get very well. I was immersed in the greenery and I just thought, wow, this is beautiful. Loved walking through here. And from this point on, it just, yeah, got even prettier the further you walked. So that was really cool. These little features, like, well, a hanging bridge, always popular with kids, and yeah, just very natural, everything. It was great to see. Loved walking around here. I was on my way to the savannah area. This is the savannah area. Gravy zebras and ostriches were present at the time. The giraffes and sable antelopes have access to this area as well through a very long sort of paddock that goes along the back to the giraffe area, which we will see in a bit. Because at the moment when I was here, there were only zebras and ostriches in that paddock. As you walked back, well, this was one of my favorite parts of the zoo. Not because of there were a lot of animals, but just because of the enclosure. This is a Sitatunga enclosure. So a Sitatunga antelope, a wetland antelope in Africa. But they had this beautiful, huge, like it was such a big enclosure, but it was a totally wetland themed as well. So as you see, lots of high grass, very marshland water as well. And here you see the Sitatunga in the grass. So for viewing, it's not the most optimal viewing enclosure. The animals are very hard to spot. But obviously, that's very natural. And well, this was one of the most natural enclosures I've seen. It was just totally accompanied to all the needs of the Sitatunga, which I loved. And you could just see them well hiding in the high grass. And as I walked further, I discovered that it was even bigger than I thought. This whole area with all the water belonged to the Sitatungas as well. And in the back, you see the giraffe area. So along the back of the Sitatunga enclosure is also the area where the giraffes can still walk from one paddock to the other. So the giraffes were in this area at the time. Reticulated giraffes, you can tell by their very unique, pretty neck patterns that they have very bright colors as well. So this was a part of the African area. Well, a restaurant, safari themed, and this is where the giraffes were standing. If you look at the enclosure like this, you kind of think, oh, this is your typical city zoo enclosure. But let's not forget they have access to the other paddock all the way at the other end of the Sitatunga enclosure as well. So in total, the giraffes do have quite a bit of space. Um, and this was, well, just one part where they were standing at the moment. Very pretty, always, those reticulated giraffes. They are one of my favorite giraffe species just because of their very exquisite neck patterns. It's always very nice to see. Well, and here you see even more giraffes in another part of the paddock. So they had quite a lot of space to roam around in. For a city zoo, it definitely was not bad. Took a look into the house, of course, as well. I always love looking at giraffe houses. Wasn't really that spectacular, but just a giraffe house. And then you entered a beautiful African aviary with greater flamingos, the largest flamingo species, and a pink-backed pelican, but also spoonbills. So there was all sorts flying around in here. And it was just, yeah, again, I'm going to say it again, very natural, very large, very green. And well, the themed houses were also quite cool, the Africa theme of it. But further on, I found a small waterfall, and just it was a very large aviary, very large, beautiful. As you left the aviary, you entered the indoor exhibit for the chimpanzees, but there were also some other micmacs, scorpions, some turtle species. Well, this is the indoor chimpanzee area. They were outside at the time. I loved all the ferns here, so again, very green, the beautiful ferns, and well, some other critters. There were, like I said, scorpions, some snakes, some reptile species. African bullfrogs as well. I love African bullfrogs. They were in there as well. So that was very neat to see. This was just a great way to get some other small animal species into this area. As we left that indoor habitat, we walked to the outside enclosure for the chimpanzees. Well, there's a hornbill that you see along the way as you head outside to the outdoor chimpanzee area. Well, we're walking past again part of the indoor area for the chimpanzees here. It was all very large, so a lot of indoor spaces for the animals. But it was a very lovely sunny day, so obviously they were outside having a good time. So this was all just a very great Africa theming, I thought, as well. So I really enjoyed that. The chimpanzees had a very large island, definitely. That was very great to see. One little remark, the restaurant was literally right next to them, and with all the school kids, it was very chaotic. Loved this waterfall, very natural. Well, and then you look on the other side, and you have the beautiful large chimpanzee area. And on the other side of the waterfall, we had the lion enclosure. So here we get the lion enclosure, waterfall that you walk underneath, view of the chimpanzee area. And the lions as well had a quite a nice large enclosure. Lots of different rocks also to lay on. And pulley systems. In Denmark, they love using pulley systems to feed the animals, which I love. It stimulates natural behavior, which is very awesome. The lions were not visible at this time because they were preparing for the feeding, and the feeding I will show you very soon. In Denmark, they are a big fan of carcass feedings, which I also love. In my opinion, it's very good education for the public. They get to see natural behaviors, and obviously for the animals, it's just also great to display those natural behaviors and actually uh, do a lot longer with their food as well. So it's not finished immediately. And they're they're eating it for quite a while and spending quite a bit of time with it. And also have to, do a bit more to actually feed like they would in the wild. So, in my opinion, that's just very great when zoos offer that to the animals, but also for the visitors to get to see those behaviors. It's something that they do in Denmark a lot, at a lot of zoos, something you won't see in the Netherlands as quickly. But yeah, once again, I think that's a great way of feeding your predators. And now for the rest, I just have a bit of footage of the tigers. Well, they had a very nice large enclosure, natural, a lot of places to hide from the public. So that was great to see as well. I didn't film everything in the zoo, so I just focused on the highlights. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, I want to do a lot more of these in the future. And then I hope to film quite a bit more to really give you an idea of the entire zoo. But for now, this was just, my first zoo overview that I've done in quite a few years. So I hope you enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed it and want to see more, then don't forget to subscribe for a lot more animal and zoo videos. Thank you.